Some say that he was talking to Rabbi Meir. And he's saying he's being more strict than Rabbi Meir. How can he be more strict than Rabbi Meir? Rabbi Meir says he has to divorce her. Because Rabbi Meir said that he has to divorce her, but he doesn't have to give her a ksuba. And Abba Chanan says he has to divorce her and give her a ksuba. So the husband really gets nothing. That's what he means, to the husband. The boy ksubasa, that she's able to collect her ksuba. Ikadamri, some say Rabbi Chanina ben Antignus kamalei, the Mekalkelasle. Some say that he was talking to Rabbi Chanina ben Antignus. Rabbi Chanina ben Antignus says that you can do an examination before they're together. And he's arguing at that. He's saying, you're going to be lenient like that. Could be that the blood's going to come and while they're together. Amar Rav Yudah Amar Shmuel. Rav Yudah said in the name of Shmuel, halacha Rabbi Chanina ben Antignus. That strict opinion is not the halacha. If she does an examination before, she's fine. Ubamai. We didn't say what we were talking about here. We were vague the whole time. We didn't say if we're dealing with a regular woman or we're dealing with a woman that's a sukkah b'taris. We didn't say anything. The Gemara is going to go back and try to figure out what this whole discussion was about. Iba sukkah b'taris. Are we dealing with a woman? This whole machlaitis over here, a woman that doesn't have a fixed cycle has to get divorced, or maybe they can things could be resolved with the examinations. Is that a woman that's dealing with taras during the day? That we already said in the name of Shmuel one time, that a sukkah b'taras needs to do an examination. And if it's a woman that is not involved with food, with taras, with this pure food, we already said that she does not need an examination. We said that a woman needs to do an examination, and that's only a woman that's involved with taras. So the Gemara says, "Man de masniha le masniha." The one that taught this did not teach that. Two interpretations in Man de masniha. There's many interpretations actually. One of them is that you said Shmuel taught this already. That's not a question. The one that taught that one didn't teach this one. It's not a problem. It was a different student saying it. Another interpretation here is yes, this one's arguing. Man de masniha, le masniha, the one that taught that one didn't teach this one, and really a woman that's not a sukkah b'taris still needs to do a bedika. Comes out a big chumrah here, that a woman that doesn't have a veses, before she's with her husband, would need to do an examination. It's brought in Shulchan Aruch. The different ways of learning this Gemara becomes relevant. Okay, let's see if we can start.
Just a quick question. So Rabbi Meir, would he disagree with the whole discussion we had about a basula? Because also she can see at any time.
Right? The thing is that basula's damim, a girl that never saw before. That's probably a chazaka that she doesn't see. She never changed her status. That would be different. She doesn't have any chazaka to see. This is a woman that has a chazaka to see. Just when she's going to see is unknown. You see this that over there, it's much better. The Mishnah says, "Kol hayad hamar belivdik b'nashim meshubachas." A woman that does examinations very often is praiseworthy. B'nashim tikatzis. But a man that does examinations, that means he examines himself to see if he's tamei because of shechva zera. Maybe the man becomes tamei if a fluid comes out of his private area. That can make him tamei. The Mishnah is saying that if a hand that checks a woman is praiseworthy, that means her hand is praiseworthy.
Not for a husband, though, right?
But just a man, nothing to do with the husband. A regular man.
In front of her husband also. I thought we just read that was discouraged.
He said before they're together, it was discouraged. And in general, this Mishnah is discouraged nowadays anyway. But we're talking about for because they needed to know for taharas and all of these things. So the more careful she is, the more she's clear that she's clean. It's very good. It's praiseworthy. But a man that's always trying to make sure that he's pure is not good. He's not the private area. We're not supposed to be. Is not supposed to be checked routinely. Okay, we're going to see what that means. If he's supposed to check it all, or the issue is routinely. From the Mishnah, it looks like routinely. Maishna nashim or maishna anoshim. What's the difference? So the Gemara says, nashim lav b'nei sagashinenu. The women don't have any sensation like that. So, mishabachas, so then it's praised. But anoshim, the b'nei argashinenu, but men that will have a sensation when they're, it's like, the term here is called that they're warming themselves. So, then tikatzis, that's not a good thing. Ihachi, if so, my yer marbe, then why are we saying kalayad hamarbe, that does it routinely? Kilay marbe nami. If it's a bad thing for a man to do, then why are you saying that this expression only by marbe, only when you increases this type of example? So the Gemara says kiktani marbe. Following word is hard to read. Nashim. An is a Aramaic prefix and it means women. Nashim. The Aramaic prefix means on or regarding women. But the Hebrew word anashim means men. So nashim. It's a hard word to read. You see the issue? Okay. When did we say that it's praiseworthy? That it's praiseworthy to routinely do examination. That's not referring to the contrast where it's not praiseworthy regarding the men. That routinely, or that increasing, is only referring to the women, not referring to the contrast to the men. Because we said the contrast in the Mishnah, women versus men, the routinely part was only on the women. Tana b'med varmulin shechva zera. When do we say that this is not something that a man should do? That's only if he's looking for shechva zera, which is a normal sort of tumah. Avalinyan zoiv, but if it's zoiv, which is an abnormal tumah, possibly translated in gonorrhea, sometimes it's translated like that. Afu meshubach kanashim, that's also praiseworthy. And even if he's checking for a normal sort of tumah that would come, so imba livdek bitzrar, if he's coming to check and he doesn't use his hand, but he uses something, some item that's tzrar would be like a rock or something, or becheres, or a piece of pottery, to see if there's any shechva zera there. So then, not to get hurt, but then that he can do as long as he's not using his hand. That's going to warm himself.
The whole purpose of the bedika, correct if I'm wrong, is that there's a point in time where there's blood that starts to flow, but it's not yet external. So you do a bedika to see if it's happening.
Right.
It doesn't exist by then.
Right.
Well, the man we're talking about something else.
No, it's nothing to do with
the
bedika.
mission.
There's no internal checking.
No, but it's not for blood. It's different. It's a different kind
Doesn't
of
matter
tumah.
what it's for. There's no internal checking with a man.
It's not internal.
No, he's saying it's to check for the mission, but they're saying
There's
if you
No,
check,
he's asking that when does a man become tameh?
Why does a woman do a bedika?
Inside or outside? Only when it comes out. A woman becomes tameh when she's inside. So he's explaining. So by a woman it would make sense to do a bedika. What's an examination by a man? If it's out, then it's good.
He woke up in the morning, he wasn't sure, so he put the cloth and he
it's not
saw
where?
on the outside. That's why they didn't want him to handle it, the Gemara.
I think what the Gemara means is that it may be just on the edge of coming out. That's it. Okay.
By the way, that alternative, what you said for Zav interpretation wouldn't make sense at all because the guy would be puzzled from that if he had that.
Oh.
He can only
So it
get
can't
that.
be a disease.
He will only get that from another woman. So why do we need anything? Or another man. I mean, whatever. I mean, it's another situation.
Thank you.
Okay, drop that. Scratch that. Ubematlis loy, and with a cloth, he's not allowed to examine. V'hatani baros taught in a brayso by the kasim matlis v'chol davar shreitz. He's allowed to use a cloth to examine himself. The Gemara says kadamar abaya, like Abaya says, b'matlis ava. That's talking about a thick cloth. V'chanami b'matlis ava. This is also a thick cloth. Now we said, okay, so a thick cloth he's allowed to use. But what we said, as Abaya said. Now, when did Abaya say that? Abaya says the following. On the following Mishnah, if a person is in the middle of eating truma, he has like the truma in his mouth, and he feels a sensation that he has like a shudder, and he feels that the shechva zera is emitting from his body. So he holds his male organ his bris. Ubayleya said truma, because he only becomes tummy after it leaves. So he swallows the truma, and so he doesn't become tummy. The Gemara says, "Oiches." He holds it. He holds his. He's not allowed to. You're not supposed to hold the bris when a person is urinating. Anyone that does, Rabbi Eliezer, who is Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkenes, student of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, has a very strong statement about this. He says anyone that holds his bris while he's urinating, it's as if he brings the mabul to the world, because it says by the mabul, it says that maybe this was one of the sins, could be. Amar Abaya says the matlasava. So Abaya explained that's where we got this story from Abaya, that he uses a cloth to hold while he's swallowing. Not that he's actually holding his bris with his hands. Rav Amar Afil Tim Matlas Raka. Rav says no, could be a Matlas Raka, but Kivan de Akar. Rav says we're not concerned. He already felt the shudder. We're not concerned that he's going to warm himself again. It's already been uprooted, and it's not going to happen again. Abaya was concerned. He says you had to use a cloth. Maybe he's going to increase. He's going to have more shechva zera if he warms himself more. Rav is not. Oh, I'm sorry. You have to read that as a question. No, Rav is not concerned that he's going to increase. The Gemara says, "V'loi," he is not concerned about that. Vatanya says in the Bais, what is this similar to? That someone that puts his finger in his eye. If you put your finger in your eye, it's going to tear. There's going to be tears. And it continues to give tears. So that means it's not going to stop. If he's going to be holding his bris, there's going to be more shechva zera. It says, Rabbi explains, if he was warmed once, to get warmed again in the same close time, that's not probable. Can I go further? Do I have more time?
Yeah, 22 minutes.
Okay, Gufa. We learned before a statement from Rabbi Eliezer. Anyone that holds his bris when he's urinating, it's as if he causes the flood to come. They told Rabbi Eliezer, but the drops of urine are going to fall on his feet, his pants, his shoes. It's going to look like he was. Yeah. What's it called? What's a krushavcha? Where he was
incontinent?
No.
Castrated.
Yeah. Castrated. It looks like he was castrated. And if he's castrated, he can't have children. So people are gonna say, so how did look his shoes and everything is all wet. It must be, how did he have children? It must be that it was another man was with his wife. So people are going to say that his children are mamzerim. So Rabbi Lezer's suggesting, more than suggesting, but he's being so strict about how he's urinating, it's going to cause other problems. So it says, Amar Lehen, Rabbi Eliezer responded, better to have that statement about his children, but he should not be wicked even for one moment in front of God. Tanya Yidach was another brisa. Amalem Rabbi Lezer lachacham. We have to see which brisa came first to see. Rabbi Lezer says to the sages, they asked him, what about his children? He says, Efshir yamin adam b'makim gavaya v'yashtin ayashtin b'afetichuach b'al yasatz misha rosh hashachas t'nei hamakim. He's able to stand on a higher location, or he can urinate into a certain type of dirt that will get absorbed. It won't spritch back. So, and that way, they won't have that, but he should not be wicked even for, in other words, he has to go and find this area that he's able to urinate, that he won't have that issue, but he can't be wicked even for one moment.
Sure, there's toilet bowls at the time. Sit down.
Hi, Yamalu Beresha. Which statement of Rabbi Lezer was first? The statement of no solution, or the statement of the solution? Eily Mekamai Samala Bereisha, the no solution, it was said first. Kamala Bereisha. So Basadam Alisura Adam Takanta. He then gives them the solution after he tells them that it's forbidden. Ella Ha'amalu Bereisha. Rather, he said the solution first. Ba'amrulei, they responded, Ein le makam gavaya v'afetichuach mai. You told us what to do, but let's say a person doesn't have a high place to urinate, or he doesn't have that sort of dirt that's going to be absorbing. So what should he do? Amalem mutav she'etzilaz al banav yasatz mi rasha shachas l'fnei hamakim. A person should if you have no solution, then better to cause that name to go out about his children, but he should not be wicked for one moment in front of God.
How did this fit? Isn't this the same Gemara or similar to the one we learned way back when, that if he was in public, they had to go, he could just go.
Yeah.
So it's almost the same one.
Right. The kol kach lama, why are we being so strict? Because he's wasting seed. It's a mission for in vain. Rabbi Yochanan says that a person that wastes seed, wastes shech vasera, is deserving of death. Shnemar be'yer bein Hashem asher asa. This is referring to Er and Einon, the wives of Yehuda's. The husbands of Tamar. It's Yehuda's boys. Vayamas kamaisai, and he killed him. God killed him. Rabbi Yitzchak for Rabbi Amri kilu shefach dam. Okay, let's leave it over there. Up to Rabbi Yitzchak.
I'll be feeling you missed a good share today.
Why does the Gemara keep on shifting back and forth
Spanish one down.
between number one and number 1.5?
What do you mean?
There's 3 left.
You're talking about urinating, and then
I
it's
thought
the
about
same
you when I
thing.
put it
You're
last
saying,
night.
no,
I said, okay, we'll see it
because
in the
it
morning.
caused the shifasera. I mean, it's like, usually, I mean, if you do one, you're not doing the other. And the other, you're not doing one.
Yeah. The Gemara's concerned.
Wicked bait.